So in order to hate someone, you have to love them a lot, and so him, Keith, myself, we were never really gonna stay apart too long, but we had a little spat. So I was right, you were right, he was right. So we were all not gonna deal with.
Actually, me and Keith were right.
Yeah,
you were wrong.
Yeah, well, the Donnie land, and then
Well, first off, tell them why. Tell them why you were already leaning.
I had
in
my
that
personal.
direction.
I had my personal.
Yeah.
My personal life was unraveling pretty fast, and nothing to do with you guys at all, really. Then so I got out of this gym, and I left the first time in 6 years, and went to my house, and I had a big garage, 2-car garage, and I put what equipment I had in there,
Yeah.
and so the best way to get to somebody is to talk third party. So we had mutual friends that were here.
Yep.
Would come to my place and come back here.
Namely Sparky.
Sparky, yeah.
Namely Sparky.
And John.
John Landon.
Yeah. John Manley.
Oh, Manley. That's right. Yeah, sorry.
So John would come train with you still, and he would train with me too. He didn't want any part of the feud, and so we're.
Actually, he wanted a little part of it. That's why he kept going back.
Yeah, he went back and forth.
He wanted to stir it up, just like
either way, messages were getting piggybacked.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And they were always twisted a little.
I would always send a message here and there to you and Keith. Hope the training's going well. And then you guys would send back. And plus, now that I was in the garage,
yeah,
it got called the Gay Raj.
Right.
And so then I just
said. Well, first off, you called this gym was a different name. Once you sold it, it was Total Gym, and
it changed its name.
Yeah, so he started calling it Total Failure.
Total Failure, right?
And I was like, well, he's at the Gay Raj.
Yeah, because everybody always accuses me of being gay anyway all the time because I'm flamboyant. And anyway, or I have flair.
You like to cry a lot?
No, I like to cry.
I like to quote Bible verses and highlight them. Yeah.
There's no telling. There's no telling. It's whatever's convenient at the time for my cause.
Write your name on the food in the refrigerator.
Yeah, and so we got together. So I made sure we called it the Gay Raj, 100%. We loved it, man. I had it on the dry erase board, Gay Raj, Gay Raj totals, Gay Raj PRs, and everything like that. And we had a good time running with that. That only lasted about 6 months or so, and we got that place downtown. And then you guys.
Well, that fueled that also fueled the competitiveness because you were,
all of us got better.
I think you went and. I think you did a bench press at the high school, and you did like 585.
Yeah,
and I can remember it, and I was like, God damn him! I hate him for doing that. God damn it!
Well, us being apart, we wanted to show each other. I wanted to show you I was getting stronger without you guys because we were together for 2.5 years, nonstop training with each other. You and Keith were going to show me you were getting stronger, and I remember we went to the nationals, and all of us did well. And we were like, damn. We got no satisfaction, but deep down you're like, I'm pretty proud of them, you know what I mean? And then we got back together, and whatever that was, that year being apart, really just knocked us into another level when we got back together. Remember that?
Well, we wanted to. We were ready to move to the next level.
Right.
We'd done our time in the trenches.
Yeah, and it's just
the constant building. Starting out at a low body weight and thinking that we were going to get strong. Me at 198 and you at 220, 242.
220 to 242. Way undersized, both of us. And
but that was also the time where we honed our skills down a lot too.
Yeah, but
a lot of rep work.
And the volume, we lifted 7 days a week, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, because Louis said, you guys need to train 15 times a week. And actually nobody at Westside was doing that ever, but our dumbasses believed that they were.
Right.
So here we are.
They weren't even anywhere close to that.
We're getting more shredded, but not much stronger. But I think, in my opinion, all that work we did got us prepared. So when we started gaining weight, we didn't fall apart and get the goofy injuries. Remember that?
Sure, yeah. We're ready.
All that wheelbarrow work, all that the sled work we were doing. I mean, twice a day sometimes. It was like unbelievable. And then we had separate. Remember, we did nothing but that trunk work sometimes. And then
every day
we got Powerlifting USA, read it religiously, and then Dave Tate and John Stafford would help us decipher it.
Well, John Shore just laughed at us. I think.
Yeah.
He made a lot of fun of us.
But he did make fun of us, but he would help.
Yeah,
He would help.
he was good.
And because you knew it was going to work, but we just didn't know how. And so we were going all over the place trying to get that right thing. And if it wasn't for competitions, we would have never learned how to do it right. Because then we started getting better, or the actual people that we competed against would help us out.
We were cutting our teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
We did a lot of work.
Tons of work.
People just really don't understand how much work we did do. Well, we would obviously we do our training session, and we had our percentages every single week. You know, it was whatever Louis wrote in there. That's what we followed. We had our speed days down. You know, we do our 50, 52 and a half, 55, or 57, and whatever it is. All those percentages down to the letter.
We didn't even know what to base them off of.
Right.
We didn't know where our singles were on anything. You know,
No,
because we were like, oh, we're way stronger than the last meet, so it's probably this, you know. So who knows what we were lifting?
yeah, we never tested it out, but
Yeah.
we sure bombed out a lot to start out.
Oh yeah, we were Bomb City, man.
But we would do, you know, three laps of just wheelbarrow work 3 times a week.
Yep. We clocked 101 or 103 miles one year. Remember, 1999 to 2000. Because when we were doing it out in the snow one time too, we never missed.
Yeah.
For no reason, rain, snow, nothing. We got all that wheelbarrow work in.
And it was the wheelbarrow. We had a bunch of different stones in there. It was about 250
Chain.
pounds. Yeah, whatever we could throw.
Without, yeah,
make
just
it
scrap.
harder.
And then we wore the wheelbarrow tire out. I don't know how many times replacing it too.
Yeah, the bearings in it.
And Susan asked like what our training schedule was like. Well, we had our speed day and our max effort day, but then we had our what did we call it? Extra work day, or extra workout day or whatever, and fill in training, and that's a lot of abdominal work.
Every session had abdominal work in it. You know, probably 6 or 8 sets at least, and it wasn't just like rep work. It was actual, you know, not max stuff, but certainly 85, 90%.
And then we had the
all the
glute
time.
ham 4 times a week, because Louis says you need to do the glute ham 4 times a week. You need to wave it in waves, and we heavy to moderate to light to, you know, it's like.
And of course, every time, you know,
We all tore our hamstrings. Remember?
Yeah, and the whole goal was to see who could get the most reps with the 100-pound plate.
Yep.
And it didn't matter how ugly they were. It's just who
Well,
was going to get the most reps.
We were doing literally 4 times a week reverse uppers, and we were getting hundreds of reps a week to a point where we were overdoing it, of course. And we all tore our hamstrings slightly. Remember, we got discoloration, and John Manley, he has got discolor behind the knee, and he goes, "I can't do anything, Don. I can't do anything." And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Why don't you pull the sled a little bit, John? Remember, you were standing right there."
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I was grinning.
"Don, what can't you understand? I can't do anything." And I said, "Well, how about spinning class? Maybe a little spinning?" And he's like, "I said I can't do anything. What do you understand?" And I was like, "All right, well, let's go upstairs and do abs then." "I hate you. Oh my God." And he got in a little rice rocket and took off. Remember, he burned those wheels. It was sputtering and burning the wheels at the same time.
There was always a session where he was peeling off in the car at least, once every couple of months?
Every couple of months he'd quit, and then he'd come back. You know, wouldn't speak to me for a while, but he kept coming back, though. But boy, that was so fun, pushing him over the edge. It was like, what can we do to push John over the edge?
Every single day.
You know, because he was so cerebral. You know, he was just always logic and everything like that. He never really had a swayed with his personality much. He was like a doctor, pretty much. And our personalities went back and forth, happy, whatever, and mad. But we would use John. We would push him to the limit, and it was so fun watching him have a meltdown.
He was easy prey.
And so was Keith. Keith was
easy prey too.
Keith was so he was so he's just you just shove him a little bit, and it's like he's like a dog, like a little yelpers, like. But my wife's little dog, it just barks all the time. And Keith would just and so we'd start on him and just give him a topic and just watch him go. It was nice to after we pushed all the stuff we were doing, it was nice having something to laugh about. Watching Keith go goofy or watching Johnny get mad, But we all 4 stayed together pretty.
We got you a few times.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. But I would pout.
Yeah, you pouted really bad.
Yeah, I would pout. So I mean, sometimes I would go along with it, but I would usually pout. You know, that was a big bitch basically. 2004 when we changed quite a bit. We were all on for the ride 2003.
Yeah.
Just surviving our weight classes to try to get into the Arnold.
Well, we're trying to figure it out too.
Right.
When we did that.
We didn't really know gear well. We thought we did, but we didn't.
I was telling Susan about going to the WPO qualifier and having no idea about the WPO, nothing about it. You know, you're like, let's go do this.
The one we went to in York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it at, I think it was at like a Plex or something.
Yeah, like a Plex center.
And it's the first time I'd seen behemoths like Gary Franks, pulling 900 pounds.
Yeah.
And, I'm just trying to get my little total at 242, just enough to get by that day.
Well, you remember when we were doing that, we had a buddy with us. I'm not gonna say his name, and he'll get mad at me if I say his name.
Say it
all right, his name was Adam. But he saw Gary Franks, and he was never right after that. When he saw Gary Frank, he wasn't scared like I'm scared of Gary Frank. He realized the level of competition and the amount of work it would take to go against that thing was never going to happen in his lifetime. I think we weren't scared of the weights anymore.
Well, we actually took some, before we never had taken a lot of singles or doubles in the gear.
Right.
So we weren't getting enough practice by the time we got to the meet. It was just a lot of, get really strong in the gym and then show up at the meet and put your gear on. But in those cycles, we were working. We were taking some heavy weights. We were doing a lot of 3s and 5s and briefs, and we did a couple cycles of that.
For the first part of our careers, we put the squat suit on the day of the meet. We never had it on prior to that. And everybody talks about gear whores. Well, we needed to be one because we never used it. And then we come to the meet, we put the gear on and we expect it to work.
Right.
And I don't know how we got through it.
We just survived. A lot of them were really ugly.
Yeah, and you just got your squat in by the,
Tell me about when what's his name cut in front of me when I was doing 1,000. Jeremy, was it Jeremy? The little glasses, the little dude.
Yeah. And you went off on him.
Yeah.
I never saw you do that before. You were you did it one time on Stable, and then when you were like, he came in and he was always trumping about gear. We never trained with gear. It was just at meets we used it. We put the bench shirt on at the meet. We never trained in it at the gym. So we were as raw as he was, and he's like, the true power lifters only does raw, And it was way back before raw was even popular. And you were like, man, people like you irritate me. You were going off on him. I never seen Spud go off on anybody before. And Jeremy.
Well, we were trying to do something.
Yeah.
We were trying to accomplish a goal, and he was like someone sticking the cog in the wheel is moving and it's constantly moving, and he's trying to jam a pipe in it or something and wreck your ship.
Well, when Stable was when you screamed at him, I knew it was for real at that point. I knew you were on a mission then, because this wasn't just a hobby, something that you were dabbling in, like a lot of today's, and yesterday's powerlifters.
I knew that was coming.
Dabbling. They like to dabble. I'm going to dabble in powerlifting. It's not the sport to dabble in.
No.
Just letting you know. It's you're either in it or you're not.
Well, getting back to the first time I took 1,000 in the was it the first time 1,000 in the gym? I think it was 1,005 on there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I was fixing to pick the weight up, and he cut in front of me, and I screamed at the top of my lungs. I said, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Is that when you were speaking in tongues?
Oh yeah, I was screaming so loud because I was so in that moment. I was like, it's 1,000 pounds. We're in the gym.
Right.
And I was just so in that moment, and he just goes.
But it's not just 1,000 pounds. It's something that you've been wrestling with from the first time you started powerlifting.
Right.
So this has been years in the making, and then he just walks in front like.
Yeah. He just cut in front like, hey,
Yeah.
If I could have thrown something at him, I probably would have hit him in the head. But he was a nice guy, but he just cut right in front of us.
But here's the thing: how come no one has common sense? I mean, I would have never done that to anybody. You would have never done that to anybody. And I just, the stupidity just runs rampant with some of these people, and they just don't get it, and they never will.
I think the concept of 1,000 pounds on your back and you're fixing to pick it up just didn't even cross his mind.
To me, the room should stop what it's doing. Everything. Everybody should stop what they're doing and watch.
Right.
That's how
and be there if you need it.
And I would do that to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still impressed with the 1,000-pound squat. I'm not numb. Neither are you.
No, it's a feat.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Only a handful of people have done, and I don't think you personally were yelling at the boy. I think that inner monster came out. That competitive edge came out and just got a hold of him. I don't think you really had control of what you were saying.
I don't know.
I think it just came.
I was just like,
there's a competition mode and there's a
Yeah.
a steady mode. When competition mode's on, you're not the same person.
no, absolutely not.
Not the same person.
You can't be the same person.
No,
You go to
Mark
competition.
Bartley, Donnie Thompson could not be Mark Bartley and Donnie Thompson when you step on that bar.
Yeah.
You're someone different. It's hard to explain, but
Well, everything has to shut off, and it's
Right.
just you in that moment. It's just you in the bar, and you're trying to figure out, holy shit, am I going to get this?
Yeah, but I think if you want to tag a year to about 2003, we started starting to change. 2004, we did not follow the West Side template anymore. We followed the skeletal West Side, where light day, you had a heavy day and a light day, or a max effort and a speed day.
Yeah.
But the whole max effort took a whole new meaning to us after that point.
We started experimenting with a lot more bands.
Yeah, a lot more bands and bands and chains together with different bars. Remember, we started rotating all the bars at that point. That's right when we started rotating bars. When we started doing that, boy, things changed. That straight bar was like nothing after we was in that CT squat bar and all that with a bunch of weight on it.
I hated that.
And we had Paul Childress always telling us, what he was doing, and we're like, yeah, we got to try that, So it was kind of cool, and Goggins really helped us out a lot. You developed a relationship with him.
Yeah.
You were in the same weight class, so.
Because we were always dogfighting with each other.
Right.
Well, until it got to the deadlift, and
Yeah.
we were neck and neck, and then deadlift time is like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He's a good deadlifter.
But he focused me a lot because I knew that he's pulling close to 900, and I had to bring a much better squat and a much better bench
Yep. To make up for that
to
difference.
try to close that gap. Because that was
Right.
my thing with those two things: squatting and the benching.
And with Gary Frank, I was just hoping he would bomb out. Then we'd have a chance. So someone said, if Gary gets a lift, any attempt at all,
You're out.
And all three, you're done. Everyone's done. It's goodbye.
That's
He's the
true.
winner.
It was true too, dude.
So you just pray he bombed out, and then the rest of us had a shot. But back then, later on it wasn't the case, but that was the way it was, And how many people were not coming into your weight class or my weight class because they knew they wouldn't have a chance? Remember,
There was a few.
there was a lot of good lifters that never competed because they didn't want to, because they knew they weren't going to beat the Travis Smashes and Jesse Kellums. They weren't going to beat, you and Vogelpool and Goggins, and they weren't going to beat Franks and Bolton. So they were all scared shitless. Remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to stick around. I might get victory sooner or later, and we both did.
Just hang on.
We just hung on there.
Just hang on every year, try to get a little bit better.
Remember, we got the things, and then you were cutting the holes in the briefs. We weren't scared to use. And then we started using our shirts in training.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge jump for us because now we can hold more weights, and we were starting to incorporate gear into our training more.
Right, we're getting the rep work
Yeah,
in gear.
yeah,
Which is
and
what we needed. We probably were going a little too heavy at the time, but
Right.
We nonetheless did that. We had with the Titan briefs, they were so strong. Goggins told me that at the time they wouldn't fit me. They were off the rackers. He says, "Okay, just cut little diamonds.
right.
Cut little diamonds." So, he only had.
Then you look like a waffle when you took them off.
he only had a couple of them, and at that time I was 280s,
Yeah.
low 280s, and I just couldn't get them to fit, so I had cut it, and it looked like a piece of Swiss cheese, and all my muscle and fat were sticking out of the legs the entire time, but it made them They made them awesome.
Yeah, and our poundage just went up when we started using the gear, and that was before metal came out. Remember, before Inzer had their Predator briefs and all that stuff. That was
We weren't even taking a lot of full gear work. We took a little bit at the end, but
Right.
most of it was a lot of brief stuff.
a lot of brief stuff, you know.
You know,
And that was we started really pushing the envelope at that point, you know. Instead of our max effort days were for crap early on. Now when we started really doing max effort work on max effort, that was a key.
which
Remember?
part do you think was it? Was it the good mornings or the?
Yeah, the good mornings were a kind of a bust, you know, never panned out. And then
You don't think we built a little bit of durability with that?
no, I thought it was those triples we were doing. Remember the triple squats we were doing?
Yeah.
That's really put us.
Well, yeah.
That really put us ahead. When we quit doing the heavy good mornings at that point, we're just doing it as assistance work. And it all seemed to do really well, you know. And we got a lot more work done with doing those triples, and it was like 3 sets of 3. Remember?
It was,
There was-
it was the, we call it the Russian system.
Yeah,
A set
some-
of 5s, 3 sets of 3s, and then one more set of 5, which was your second set. Of
Right,
3s.
right.
And you constantly went up. And I don't know who told me this.
It's like a Vigliano, wasn't it, back then?
I don't know who presented that one to us, but
Well, it was on Bassan's big thing.
was it?
Well,
Was it on for it?
mm-hmm.
I remember him saying that if you can triple 800 in your briefs, you can squat 1100. So the whole time, my constant focus was, I got to get that 800. I got to get that 800. I got to get that 800. And it came really relatively quickly.
Yeah, and then, but then when you get to 1,100 pounds, you're like, holy crap! You don't think about those 800s anymore. That's a lot of weight. You never forget the first time, you know, you get into that. But,
Yeah.
but those triples really started to change us. You know, the heavy triples. And that was good stuff.